Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Change of Shift podcast, episode 10. Hard to believe, episode 10. For those of you who are watching the video post-editing, you'll notice that it's just me. My wonderful co-host has decided to hang out with the other part of the world. I am here on my own talking about another spontaneous topic. My co-host couldn't make it tonight, so it's just me again. So you'll have to tolerate just the airwaves and my voice. So today on Twitter, I posted another one of my Ask the NP hashtag updates. For those of you who haven't been listening or are not familiar with the Ask the NP hashtag, it's a hashtag that I've been using and utilizing to spread knowledge, to inform, to give tips, and to share my experiences in regards to all things about nursing. I have been focusing most of my efforts on the nursing students. Ironically, this particular update that I gave today was about nurses in general, and it went something like this. It said, "Nurses, never apologize for doing your job. Advocating for another human being is not easy. Hashtag Ask the NP, ASKTHENP." And quite honestly, I posted that sometime this afternoon, and I was thinking of only my profession, the nursing profession, in regards to patient advocacy. And I still, at this time of the night, not quite sure how it got spun a little bit differently, but it sparked a bit of a heated conversation on the Twitterverse, the Twittosphere, that had something to do with questioning advocacy and so a couple things. Is advocacy exclusive to just the nursing profession? And second question would be, have there been nurses, and I'm saying nurses because this is what it was geared towards, but I guess we could direct this to any healthcare profession, but we'll stick with nurses. Can nurses abuse the term advocacy in excusing other forms of behavior? And quoting what someone said on Twitter was that some people are labeling obnoxious behavior with being a patient advocate. And it perked up my ears a bit. I was a little curious as to the comments and the questions. So the first topic is advocacy exclusive to nurses or the nursing profession by themselves? And I'm pretty sure that everybody knows the answer to that is absolutely not. Advocacy is anyone that speaks up for our patients when they can't speak up for themselves, when we defend our patients. The rudimentary dictionary definition of advocate is someone who supports or recommends a particular cause or policy. And in this case, I guess our cause would be, our patient's health or just our patient. Another definition was a person who pleads on someone else's behalf. So I guess you could look at it from a legal perspective, that someone could be an advocate for someone else. So in that perspective, absolutely, we as nurses, the nursing profession, the healthcare profession, we are our patients' advocates. We're speaking for our patients when they can't speak for themselves. We're looking out for their best interest, even if the best interest has to do with performing procedures, relying on interventions, medications, or other clinical strategies that might even look harmful, and I guess harmful is a bad word, or that can be uncomfortable. One of the simplest and easiest examples I can give is that post-op care for a patient is always to early mobilization, get them out of bed, deep breathing and coughing. All of these things are very uncomfortable for the patients when they first are recovering from surgery, but it has been proven through research and evidence-based practice that deep breathing and coughing, early mobilization, getting out of bed, lowering the diaphragm, all are interventions that will prevent post-op pneumonia. So while the patient themselves may think that we're torturing them, we have their best interest in hand. So the first topic, advocacy is definitely not exclusive to the profession of nursing. And the reason why that subject matter came up is that I had at least one, maybe two physicians make a comment and decided to, the word I used was draw a line in the sand that, physicians advocate for patients as well, and that it's not exclusive to nursing. So the reason for me posting the Twitter update absolutely had nothing to do with differentiating or isolating our profession as being the only profession that can advocate for our patients. So I wanted to clear up the first subject. Second subject was what I was a little bit more interested in, is that someone left a comment or made a comment that they have experienced that some nurses have used the label advocating for a way to excuse irrational or obnoxious behavior. And we did not go into the specifics of what that obnoxious, irrational, rude behavior was. I'm pretty sure I could come up with some examples of my own from personal experiences of my own. The point I think that someone was trying to make was that you can't label advocacy for every action that we perform. I hate to say it, and maybe I'll regret saying this, but there are some not so nice nurses out there. There are some not so nice physicians out there. There are healthcare professionals, nurses, physicians, and others that don't put their patients' health and well-being in front of everything else. I'm not saying that there needs to be some sort of self-sacrifice, but they sometimes forget the ultimate goal here is to improve the outcomes, to improve the health, wellness, to improve the overall condition of the patient. And there are individuals out there that have missed the boat on that. For one reason or another, they've missed the boat on that. They become a little selfish. They become a little irritable. They become angry. Angry is a good word. They become burned out. Burnout in the world, in my world, in the profession of nursing is a very popular topic these days. And I know that there is plenty of conversation out there about physician burnout. So for those individuals that are burned out, they could hypothetically utilize the term advocating for their patient for an explanation as to their irrational or obnoxious behavior. I have personally not experienced that. And today, this whole podcast, that whole update was kind of a wake-up call to maybe pay a little bit more attention when nurses utilize the term, "I'm advocating for my patient." 99.9% of the time, advocating for our patient is genuine, and that's the whole purpose of our job. But every so often there's a bad apple, and maybe, and this is just a theory of mine, is that maybe that was the source of the comment that was made on Twitter in regards to using the term advocacy for obnoxious behavior. In no way, shape, or form is advocacy exclusive to nursing, and in no way, shape, or form should the term advocacy be used to excuse bad behavior. Somehow, during the course of the conversation on Twitter, during the course of the conversation about my update, there were people picking sides on a fence between nurses versus physicians. And thankfully, everyone agreed at the end of the dialogue that we're all on the same team, that we're all out for the good of the patient, that we're all out to take care of our patients. And I think that was the greatest part of the conversation that went on today, is that in the beginning, it seems that individuals had picked sides. Whether they did it on purpose or not, they were picking sides. And I'm just making a general assumption that it was nurses versus physicians. But by the end of the conversation, as always, nurses and physicians always end up being on the same side, being on the same team when it comes to patient care, when it comes to, advocacy for our patients. I was, doing some quick research. I want to say research. I was Googling some stuff prior to starting this podcast episode tonight, and some of the synonyms for advocacy were supporter, backer, promoter, spokesperson, fighter, crusader, and champion. All of these terms have been used interchangeably with advocacy. And I find it comforting that we as a profession, as well as other professions, regardless if we agree, disagree, or agree to disagree, at the end of the day, we both are wanting the best for our patients. This was a quick podcast. This is one of those mini podcasts. Episode 10, Change a Shift podcast, labeled "Can Patient Advocacy Be Abused?" with the hashtag AskTheNP, AskThe, capital N, capital P. As always, thank you for tuning in. Change a Shift podcast is still brand new, still in its infancy. We're still creating our footprint out there. You can find us out there on the internet, thechangeashift.com. We have a Facebook page. You can find our fan page on The Change a Shift, as well as we're on YouTube, The Change a Shift channel. And of course, we're on Twitter, which with the handle Ask the Cos. So it would be AskTheCos, as in change of shift. As always, thanks for tuning in and taking a listen. Always interested in hearing what you have to say. Thanks for tuning in on this mini podcast. And as always, check your own pulse first.